Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm not sure why Matt's not taking this because I really think it should be, so. Another one of his cool inventions here, our loading alley. He's looking confused because he likes to start
and that's
things.
what's happening on Ranching Sodak. Sorry about that, folks. My channel got hijacked there for a little bit. Holy moly. So anyway, these are those frames we built a couple videos back. Remember those? I built them in the shed. It's gonna end up being a 50-inch wide curved loadout alley. When we come out of that bud box out there along the road, it's a 50-inch gate that I got coming out of the bud box, and we're gonna have to add on a couple of straight panels, maybe 12 feet, 10, 12 feet. But then this arch is gonna give us the opportunity to get square with the road, so we can go right out to a semi, and the semi can stay right on the road, and then bingo bango, we're out and running. I've been welding these on. I got 3 for each side, and then we're gonna add one here, put some uprights in this way, and then we'll put conveyor belt along the whole thing. So a lot of welding. We'll keep you posted. Well, I got the bottom rung on all of them here, and then I just set these on. What I did is, when we had these, this is an old pallet racking that we bought. I was able to cut, well, you saw me cut a little bit off bracket there. Then the ends that had the piece of angle iron is right here. So we saved those, and I welded those on to set this on. And I was able to weld it. Then I threw a bolt in there to fill that little gap because of the weld behind there. Weld that on. Now I can just set all these on here, start on one end, work my way along and weld them all on. This side, because these are 24-foot long pipe or tubing, and this side is the shorter radius. So these are same pipe or tubing, I'm gonna have to add on to them because they're gonna stop about right here because it's a farther, it's a longer distance when it's going around the curve. Anyway, I gotta go eat some dinner, getting hungry, watch the sale a little bit more. My neighbor's selling his cows today, so I wanna watch that, see how it goes for him. So, catch you in a few. Little epic time lapse action for a few minutes. Well, we got that all done. Why do I say we when I'm just out here by myself? Well, I got this all done. So I priced some 1.5 inch flat by 1/8 inch steel straps cut to fit between here, because what happened was this was getting super expensive to get these bent, so I kind of cheapened up and didn't get enough of them. So now we're gonna have to put uprights in here every foot or so, and then we'll put the conveyor belt over top of it like this. It'll be 2 pieces of conveyor belting. But then up here, because this is only 4 foot right here, so up here I got to put one sucker rod 9 inches up or whatever. And I got the weld on clips that we used when we did the stuff for the hoop shed. But I got to go get a piece of sucker rod and see if I can hold this thing up here and bend it around, or what kind of menagerie that's going to turn out to be. But let's go find out. Oh, nice gloves, Matt. Where does the guy get a pair of those? Go to ranchingsodak.com. Help yourselves. Help yourselves. Fencing's right around the corner, boys. Got sucker rod over here. I'm gonna try to, I made a loop on that rope to hold it up, and then I got some wire ready over here. So I lift it up in there just to get it close. Oh boy. Should have used wire instead of rope. Start here in the middle and then work our way to the ends, I guess. I don't know. Remember, these are weld-ons. Give her a shot. So I got them on there. What we need to do now is I'm gonna just weld the bottom of this, like make like a hook, and then I could bend this thing and drop it down in there. The rope didn't work at all. So it's not a perfect arch to match the other ones, but it's fine. So I shoved it all the way that way. I'm gonna weld as much as I can from here to here and here probably. And then I'm thinking if I push in on that side a little bit before I weld, I can make some of these arches come a little more out to where they're supposed to be. And then we'll weld the end of that one, then we can cut it off. Well, fast forward a couple of days. Yesterday was Friday. It was super windy, but I did come out and I welded these on. And I got my first rail for this side, ready to start welding that on. And like we talked about, since this is the inside curve, these are 24 foot long on the outside curve, but they are short. We're gonna have to add on. Business call. Doing a terrible job of filming for you guys today because the feed truck came after my phone call, so I just got done filling all the feeders. I didn't show you any of that. You guys want to watch some welding? So, like I was saying, we got to add on to these. They're not going to be perfectly bent. I might stagger them. I'm not 100% sure yet. Start from this end and then go that way. I think part of the reason when it starts sputting and spattering is I get moving too fast and it cools down. I'm not staying in the pool long enough where it's warm. I watched a couple YouTube videos on how to wire weld after I've had this for 20 years to see if I could learn anything. And one guy said you should be pushing the wire ahead of you, and then there was kind of a what do you want to call it, pattern you use, whether it's a zigzag or a circle or a whip and pull. He made it sound like that didn't really matter as long as you keep the right temperature and the right wire speed, and you keep, you know, doing your thing. So I've kind of tried everything, back and forth, the up and back, the zigzag, but the dogs haven't seen me in a week and they're wondering why I'm talking to this piece of plastic. I think they're concerned for my mental health. Got two of them on. Now I think I'm gonna do, like I said, and start on this side, splice over there for the middle one. But I had to drag my welder around, so while I'm here I'll finish putting on my angle braces. I noticed I'm not perfect when I get to the other end. It wasn't quite square. I mean, it was really close, but as I was worrying about it, I decided it's like all you have to do is run some cows through this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It is level. I did level all the bottoms, so at least everything is straight up and down, so the whole thing will become, it's not gonna sit wonky, you know. It might a little bit, but it's turning into kind of a big monster. I hope I could put some braces across the middle there or something and just lift the whole thing up with the Merlot. And then I did order flat iron for here. Every foot is gonna be an 1.5 inch piece of flat, 1/8 inch thick. The Hutterites over there are actually gonna laser cut it all. It was just as cheap to have them just laser cut the whole thing out of a sheet, all my pieces, instead of cutting it. I think it was maybe an extra $80. Then I won't have to cut, monkey around. So it'll be 60 of those every foot. And then the other thinking there was it's gonna make it stronger because I'm gonna have all this lateral support. If I would have just put another one here in the bottom, there's no lateral support when you go to lift this thing up. But if I do it this way, it's gonna tie everything together. So when I go to move it around, it's not gonna be a a saggy mess because there's going to be no sheeting. It's going to be conveyor belting. Want to watch me mark this out? I better double check. Hold that end right there, if you would, please. Help me. Hold it up! Oh my gosh, pick a side. Help me. Oh, here, let's use this clamp. Maybe. Goodness. Insert clown music here. Well, a couple things. I obviously measured wrong here, and I shorted this by 1 inch. So I had to put a piece of tubing in there to get it the right height. I talked about bending this out, pulling it a little bit so this curve would go, but I decided I'll just stick this thing in here, this pipe. So I wedged it in here and I wired it to there. It's wanting to kick out, but anyway, I got this laying pretty straight now. See that? All the pressure's against here. I'm gonna put a bolt in there, or I think I could just fill all that, just layer that thing full of weld, and then that'll hold. I should be able to cut this off then, see what happens. Hot enough to burn through there. Fooled around too long. I was saying we got lucky because I found this pipe and it had a little bend in it already, which actually kind of fit. I ended up butt welding it together. I put a bolt along here where the bigger gap was. That seems to be good enough. Like I say, this is all gonna get straps on here too, so we'll get it all tied together. Then I had this piece of tubing. I'd made this a few years ago to recover a broken well on a well. The rod that goes down for a pump jack had broke off and fell down in the well in a 6-inch casing, and it's like the well digger guy told me there's no way you can get that fish back out of there because it was down like 25 feet and it was just the 3/8 rod off the bottom of a pump jack. Well, I made this thing and it had a little, so this thing's got a flipper in there, so it'll go one way. It's full of dirt right now, but this thing flipped one way so I could stab it down on there, and then when I lifted it, it flipped up and caught. So I was able to pull it out because I had this 20-foot chunk, and then I had another 20-foot chunk onto this. So I had 40 foot that I dropped down in the well, and I hooked that thing. But anyway, that job's done, so I cut it off. This is gonna fit, this fits right on the inside. So I cut a chunk off. This thing right here, it fits, slides into there, and I bent it, just 2 little gradual bends, wedged it in the trailer, and I bent it down. But anyway, I gotta tap it in there now, and then we'll weld that. I can weld it on here. Then I might be out of iron over here. I got to go over to Jim's. There's a couple soccer frames that Kevin brought out probably 3-4 years ago. There's a lot of good iron in it, but there's big soccer frames from in town when they redid the park. But anyway, this project's going to continue. So thanks. This video is a little shorter. The last one when we were in Mexico, it's a 40-minute video. I encourage you to watch it. It gives you an idea what mission work is like when you go down there. It's really kind of fun, especially if you have any skills or you got a little extra money, you can go down there and really change some lives. So we had a great time. If you haven't watched that video, it's kind of long, I know, but go back and check it out. It's pretty fun. And we'll be doing some more talking about that as we go on here. I'm gonna keep working on this a little bit today, a little tomorrow. We're loading calves out on Thursday and Friday, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully get it all together and we'll be moving some cattle out of here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.